A greengrocer's trick with ginger. It will stay fresh for up to a year. When you have more ginger, storing it this way prevents it from rotting or drying out. Regardless of the season, you can keep it for months. All you need is a cardboard box. Get a box with a lid that can fit your ginger. Ginger shouldn't be exposed to sunlight, and in too humid an environment, it starts to rot quickly. That's why we'll use cardboard. But not only that, you'll also need some paper towels. Tear off a few pieces, enough for the amount of ginger you have. Now grab some baking soda. It's essential for storing ginger. Line the bottom of the box with paper towels. The cardboard will provide a stable temperature for the ginger and protect it from sunlight. Remember, don't wash the ginger before packing. It needs to be dry. Sprinkle a layer of baking soda over the paper. Baking soda not only absorbs moisture but also prevents the ginger from sprouting. Next, place another paper towel over the soda layer, then add the ginger. Add another layer of paper towel, sprinkle more baking soda, and cover with paper again. Keep layering if you have more ginger. Place a paper towel on top and close the box. Store the box in a dry, cool, but well-ventilated place. Your ginger will stay fresh even after several months. Don't open a can this way. Let me show you a method you'll thank me for. This trick will help extend the freshness of an opened can. Usually, after opening a can, the lid is left raised. This is the standard method most people use, but it causes the contents to spoil faster. So, I'll show you how to open a can correctly. This simple trick helps keep food fresh longer and is very practical, especially when you don't use all the contents at once. After opening the can, simply lower the lid back onto the can. Then, gently slide the tab to the side to lock the lid in place. Be sure to do this gently to avoid damaging the can. This way, you won't have to worry about the contents spoiling quickly. If you haven't tried this method yet, give it a go. It really makes life easier and helps with better food storage. Use an empty water jug to save space in your fridge with this simple hack. In a few easy steps, you'll create more room for your favorite foods. Start with an empty water jug and cut it into 4 parts. You'll need 2 strips and the bottom of the jug. The top part with the cap can be discarded or kept to cover snacks on a table or patio to protect them from insects. Next, prepare 3 plates for your food. I used 1 plate for apples. Place 1 strip of the jug around the plate with apples, ensuring all the fruits are inside the strip. Then, place another plate on top. I used this one for sliced oranges. Again, place a strip of the jug around this plate. Now it's time for the top tier. I placed a cake on the last plate and put it on top of the previous layers. Finally, cover the plate with the cake using the bottom part of the jug. Now, you can easily fit this makeshift container into your fridge, where fitting 3 separate plates would have been impossible. Additionally, your food is protected from any unwanted insects that might find their way into the fridge. Put plastic wrap in the freezer and see what happens. It will gain new properties you didn't know about. Everyone has plastic wrap at home. We sometimes use it to wrap delicate pastries, but more often we use it to pack regular sandwiches for school or work. Then we always try to have it on hand. It's very useful. However, it has its drawbacks. It's hard to unroll. Especially when the roll is new, it's difficult to start unrolling it. You can easily solve this problem. Just moisten the plastic wrap or your hands with water. If you run a wet hand over the plastic wrap roll, you'll easily find its beginning and unroll it. But once you manage to unroll it, it's hard to tear it off. It tears unevenly and gets all stretched out, sometimes endlessly, and unfortunately, it often sticks together. But there's a trick. One trick will make the plastic wrap very easy to tear off and won't stick together. There's one condition. You have to put it in the freezer. The low temperature will make the plastic wrap easier to unroll and tear off. It will be a bit stiffer. It won't stretch out as much, and it won't stick. If you use it very often and don't want to open the freezer all the time, keep the plastic wrap in the fridge. This will make using it much more pleasant. You'll forget about all those problems it can cause. Put a sponge in the fridge. You'll be surprised by what will happen. You'll definitely want to brag to your friends about this trick. This trick is very simple and cheap, and it will help you with a problem that often occurs in fridges. But first, ask yourself, when was the last time you checked the products you keep in it? Some of them simply need to be thrown away. They can make the fridge smell bad. Take a look inside your fridge. Do you also have water droplets on the shelves or on the back wall of the fridge? If products stick to such a moist back wall, ice can form on them. And standing water on the shelves, if you don't notice it, starts to smell bad. There are 2 ways to prevent this. You can handle it with a regular dishwashing sponge, but don't worry. It's not about cleaning the fridge with it at all. Take 1 sponge and cut it under the rough surface. Make a small hole with a knife or scissors. Pour salt inside. Now place such a sponge on the shelf in the fridge. The sponge will absorb moisture from the shelves. Salt also absorbs moisture. So it's a simple and cheap fridge dehumidifier. The second method is to use another product. Sprinkle baking soda on the sponge and place it in the fridge, preferably in the bottom drawer. The sponge will absorb moisture, and the soda will additionally absorb unpleasant odors. If your fridge smells strange even after cleaning and washing it, try these simple and cheap tricks. You'll be surprised by the result, like my mother-in-law. Put styrofoam in the freezer and enjoy lower electricity bills. Have you ever put styrofoam in the fridge? If not, you definitely should. Instead of throwing it away, put it in the freezer. You'll reduce your bills and save on expenses. Styrofoam doesn't absorb moisture and doesn't dissolve in water. It also doesn't conduct heat. It's lightweight and can be crushed and broken into smaller pieces. If you're focused on savings and every penny counts for you, styrofoam can help with that. Simply freeze it. To do this, fit the styrofoam into one of the freezer drawers. Divide it into smaller pieces. Arrange it in the drawer. Insert smaller pieces into the empty spaces. Put the drawer loaded with styrofoam into the freezer. If you have space in another drawer, do the same. Fill it with styrofoam and put it in the freezer. It turns out that this really works. Styrofoam reduces the empty space in the freezer. Every time you open the freezer door, warm air enters. When the freezer is full, less warm air enters. This means the fridge uses less electricity. The same goes for the cooling part of the fridge. If you have a large fridge and few items in it, you can line the empty shelves with styrofoam. By eliminating the empty space in the fridge and freezer, you'll save more energy. Place aluminum foil and a pin from the can into the television. You'll be able to watch all the TV channels in the world. All you need is a small piece of aluminum foil and a pin from the can. Also, prepare a package of Chinese instant noodles in a large container. Set aside the contents of the dish, as we won't need them. Line the inside of the box with foil. Wrap the edge of the container carefully. Use a drill to make a hole in the center. Thread the TV cable connector through the hole. Use hot glue to attach it to the box. Prepare about 10 centimeters of TV cable. Remove the insulation from the middle of the cable, leaving only the inner conductor. Leave about 2 centimeters of wire at the other end. Attach the connector tip to it. Take a can of any beverage. Pour it into a glass. Detach the tab from the can. We need it to watch TV. Secure the other end of the TV cable to it. Now, prepare the TV cable. Cut and gently remove the outer insulation. Fold back the braid. Remove the dielectric. Attach the connector. Do the same at the other end of the cable. Attach the cable with the can tab inside the container lined with foil. This will be our antenna. Screw the cable end with the TV connector to the other side of the container. Attach the antenna plug to the end of the cable. And that's it. Just plug it into the TV and watch any channels. Properly positioned, it will allow you to watch all channels.